Hello everybody, welcome back to the pYanodons playthrough. It's Ghostified Gamer, and I'm a dirty cheater. I'm a dirty ghost cheater. Oh, and by the way, I will be changing my name. I don't know when yet. I want to get a couple episodes out so that people know through the episodes I'm going to change my name. We'll do a community post, but those are kind of hard, you know, like when you do those, you don't know there's a community post because YouTube has a bad way of telling you where things are. It's a pretty crappy designed website. Just, to be honest, it's a piece of garbage. They keep adding things to it, but they don't enhance it where everything is connected, and you can find things very easily. But anyway, so yeah, I had to cheat these in because I need to know what the heck's going on. What's the direction of these trains? So here's an excellent and a superior train. I cheated in the trains because I need to know if those are changing. Well, it turns out they're not. They're all the same footprint, but the cars do change, and I don't understand why they went with this. It wasn't a very good idea. I can't imagine why the mod devs let this through, the main ones. But yeah, I mean, okay, so you're splitting the trains in half, then you go back now with the Nextlet train to a vanilla size car, and then you go back to this split train crap again. Just leave it like this. Do one train car, same footprint, because my whole network is designed to this train car size here. And the advanced trains are cool and all, and yeah, but the problem is, your loading and unloading are going to be, you don't know where you're going to be unloading or loading based on your builds and stuff. So this doesn't always work very well, So I cheated these suckers in because I needed to know what's going on. And so the footprint, so here's what I did. Temporarily, this is what I'm doing. I changed the mod files to reflect that of a advanced train. So 2 advanced little cars is 50,000, it's 40 slots. So the Nextlet train, I changed it to 40. And I also changed the weight to 1,200, which is 2 advanced cargo wagons. I did the same thing to the fluid wagon as well. So I've been kind of slowly getting around to changing things up here. So here's the fluid wagon here. So this is 50,000 capacity and 1,000 weight. So I'm going to be cheating these in. And these are, I modified the stats on it so that it matches that of an advanced wagon. Okay. So, now, the way I'd like to do it is I'd like to make a new recipe, and that new recipe, so basically a modlet to modify the trains, mainly the Nextlet train, right, for now. And then, so what I want to do, I don't know how to mod, so I'm kind of at a disadvantage here, but I do know how to change the stuff, the source files. So modifying this is fine for now, but if the mods update, then it's going to overwrite the changes that I had, and I have to go back in and update them again. The better way to do this is to create a modlet. Usually they call them tweaks, because some things just don't make sense in the mod, and players are like, well, that doesn't make any sense, and the mod dev is like, I ain't changing it. So you take it upon yourself to do it. So you'll see sometimes for these big mods, you'll see tweaks, tweak mods. So what I need to do is copy the Nextlet train here, the code, and then create a new mod, and then the advanced train would get reconfigured to the new stats. Basically it would be 50,000 for one advanced train. And the recipe too. So mainly I'm worried about the recipe. But I'm going to use the Nextlet information, and I'm going to keep this train throughout the whole playthrough, or the cars. The train is fine. I can use the Nextlet train when I get them. I can make those and put them in, and I can do the superior train car, and everything is fine. It's the car. So really what I want to do is have the Nextlet train framework, but the advanced train recipe, and I'll call it something different. Like it would be MK. Well, there's inconsistency in the nomenclature too. This is an HT dash locomotive in the code. The advanced train is an MK2 dash locomotive, and the superior train is an MK4 dash locomotive. So there's some Nexila, I think, probably programmed this, and he called it an HT train. Should be MK03 Nexila, just saying. But anyway, you know, it works. You know, it's sometimes you have to figure it out. And then every one of these trains is in a different mod pack too. So they span all these different mod packs. It's industry, high tech, and alternative energy. So all, you know, these trains are all in different spots. So anyway, ideally, copy the Nexilit framework and then change the recipe of it would be another train basically. So all the trains would stay in, except I would add 2 new cars, basically cars, and it would be advanced updated, you know, dash locomotive dash advanced dash updated or whatever, you know, something. It would have the Nexilit framework and the recipe for to make those. So it would be 2 advanced trains, so I'd double the recipe for 1 car. And the same thing for the fluid wagon. And when it comes to the superior, I do the same thing. It would be superior dash, updated or whatever the crap, you know, and then it would be double the recipe. So since I got these suckers, let's take a look at them here. It takes a Nexilit battery, 500 megajoules, 200% acceleration, 150 top speed. Oh, and by the way, this is going to be like a kind of a discussion episode here. Let's go up here. I'm not going to be doing any building in here because I got to discuss a bunch of things that are coming up here. There we go. That is fast, man. Sorry, I had to cough there, so I had to mute. Anyway, I'm going to be discussing some future plans and things I've done off screen. One of the future plans I want to talk about right now is I'm not going to be running the research on screen anymore because it's just taking too long to get through it. And as much as I want to go through it on screen, I don't think that's adding any value to the series. And I'm probably losing subscribers because the series is kind of grinding along here. So anyway, here's the superior. And it's a quantum battery, 1 gigajoule, 350%, 250%. Boom. Can you imagine what it's going to take to build a quantum battery? I can't, and I don't want to even think about it. Let's move this up. Get the Nexilit train moved up. And then we'll delete that. And watch how fast this sucker is. This is crazy. Oh, thanks, autosave. You ruined my fun there. So this thing is fast as all get out. I really like this train. Maybe someday in my lifetime I'll get to that. Anyway, so yeah, to summarize again, I'd like to write a mod that mods the mod. But in the meantime, I'm just going to change the train to that of a high-tech train, or advanced train, I mean. That's the high-tech. All right, down here is where I'm going to do some, kind of keep track of things. So for every vanilla train I pull up, I'm going to keep it in a case here. And for every Nexilit train I grab, I'm going to make an advanced train to offset that. So I got the trains over here, and I'm going to be updating the fleet slowly but surely. Now, I can't do the Nexilit cargo in the general base yet. I can do TSM trains where they're picking up trash and body parts and blood and things like that. That's easier to... I can modify... and I have to modify stuff in order to get the higher capacity loading too. So it's going to be a process that I'm going to be running, doing off screen here. So the plan is to upgrade the fleet and keep things above board, of course, by accounting for each train and making the trains. I'm making the advanced trains to offset the usage of the Nexilit. Now, when it comes to whenever I unlock that Nexilit train and get all the stuff to build it, whenever that'll be, I'll have to make the Nexilit trains, and it has to... That's why I have to keep track of it like this, because I don't know how many fluid wagons and cargo wagons I have. I'd have to go through every single I'd have to pull all the trains into one spot and count them because they're all over the place, right? So this is how I'll know how many Nextlet trains I'm cheating in, because I'll have the advanced wagons here counted. So like I said, for every vanilla train I pull up, I grab a Nextlet train and put the advanced trains in here, take a Nextlet train and put that in place. But for now, it's just locomotives. That's all I'm doing right now. But I've done a few TSM ones, so I know exactly how many I have of the TSM ones, you know. So that's the plan there. That's what I'm going to be doing there. Okay, so I had a thought that I didn't really finish last episode, and I was talking about this thing here. And the way I'm going to be going forward with the series as far as building is going, I want to use belts. You know, I think belts are fun. They're challenging. But there's a certain line that I have to draw in the sand. And the mechanical parts, I guess you could say, is where the line in the sand, you know, we stepped over it with this because we have 37 parts in this thing. And then we have 7 fluids. So this was a no-brainer on the bot build, you know, doing a bot build. The mechanical parts O2s and the Bs were another one where it was just, there's so much crap going on. And it's just easier to figure out a build when you just use bots, you know. So complexity is key here. Wow, what's going on with these trains? Oh, here we go. Got rubber. There's the rubber. You got advanced small parts. What are you bringing? Lubrication. What are you bringing? Ah, niobium. Okay, niobium plate. So this is a prime example of a bot build, you know. And I like this loading situation. I think that's what I'm going to be doing going forward. Unless it's a high volume, then I have to have like an input stacker. But there is really no reason to have stackers for this because the trains come in, they unload so quick, and they leave, you know. So I'm not too worried about that. So this build works fine. I do have to signal this better. I have these chain signals in here. I got to pull them up and put signals. I got to chain it. I'm going to put a signal here, and then I'm going to signal this whole thing. Like the regular signals here, rail signals. The chain signals keep the trains from exiting, is how it goes. Now, you're supposed to put chain signals where there's crossovers, you know, like joiners. But really, what I'm going to be doing is chain signals. So the chain is here, but the signal is here. And on the output, too. So you want to signal on the output. And hopefully I can speed this up. So I got to update that. So now, with this build, because of the complexity, it made sense to do bots. Now, I can do hybrid builds, which is bots and belts. It's not a problem. Now, the complexity is one issue. The other issue is the cost of parts, too. And bots, it's easier to meter things with bots than it is belts. Belts is it's a hog with all the resources that is on there. So if I were to, like, for example, this belt here, for every one of these, it's 4 items. So you got 4, 8, 12, 16, 24, you know, or 20, 24, so on and so forth. So this little belt section right here alone, you know, 20, let's say we got, oh my God, and we got this thing. So for every 20, that's times 4, that's 80 parts just on a section of 20 belt. Well, with a bot with a case, you know, a logistic case, I can have a bot bring 1, which is equal to 3. So bots are 3 items, right? And so I can bring 3 items at a time, as long as the machine can handle that. You know what I mean? So you have to increase that based on the machine's speed and on how many parts you need to make a craft. So you can manage items being tied up with bots a lot easier than you can with belts. Belts is just a huge amount of material. But like I said, I do want to use belts because it's fun and I like the challenge. So the cost of an item is going to kind of push me, well, do I do bots for this? And I'll do belts for that. The other criteria is LTN related, and it kind of goes along the lines of LTNs because they have one threshold for all the items in a case. which is fine for vanilla, but it sucks for, these higher end mods like pYanodons or, overhaul mods. It doesn't really work very well for this situation, for doing hubs and having different items. So, obviously I've done this here where, I've got, one loader for a certain amount of items, the threshold. And then this one here is like, lower amount of items. It's got 100 threshold on it, but I don't want to bring as much. And another thing is if I have an arithmetic combinator doing counting, like on the plastic here, I don't have an arithmetic on the stone and all that crap, but I don't need a lot, so I didn't care. Bring a full train, but, I only, it doesn't matter in that case. But when it comes to this stuff here, this is a prime example of where LTN kind of screws you over because they lock you into a threshold for every single item. So this threshold is 25, so when we drop down to 25, it calls a train. And I have all this stuff, except for the quartz here in this case, is on a counter, an arithmetic counter. Oh, the beryllium's on a counter, but the nickel plate isn't. So, that's fine, because I don't need a lot, right? So it brings a full train, but I don't need that. I don't need a full train every time it drops to a certain amount, And then I've got this here, which is really small items. And even then, I might have to have another train car unloader, which is basically like 20 and 5 or 20 and 15. That would be the threshold. So when it drops down to 5, bring me 20, because some of these items, for example, the gearbox, I'm bringing 100 because I'm like, well, shit, I gotta do another stop, and that would mean I have this stop here that's empty, and I can also convert these over. I can get rid of the fluid wagon and the train wagon if I need to. But, I would need another stop for even smaller quantities because of that threshold. Now, I am looking at the CyberSyn mod. I copied and pasted this save, or this whole thing, the whole pYanodons playthrough, over to a copy. And I updated to, by the way, I recently updated to 1.1.88. I haven't played it didn't play for a while, and there was like a bunch of versions that came out. I'm like, oh god, a lot of bug fixing. So I tested I copied this over to a different different folder, basically copy paste, and I updated the mods, or I updated Factorio, and then I started the pYanodons playthrough. And it worked. So I'm like, okay, cool. Now that means I can go back and update this version here that I'm playing on. Now there are some pYanodons updates. One of them I'm holding off on because they nerfed the green circuit, or the complex, or the simple circuit board. They nerfed it from 5 to 3. I don't know why they did that, but what I'm going to do is test the base with the nerf and see if everything is okay, because I don't want to have to deal with changing that up, I mean, simply I could probably add a chip shooter or whatever for that, but it's going to be all thrown off. Now, I didn't design the base for a certain amount of circuits. I just designed it. And so I should be okay, but I'm going to test that out and see if there's a negative effect with the change there. Otherwise, I'm going to update the pYanodons mods, going forward. But I'm kind of holding off on it. There's no real major changes. If anything, it's kind of nerfing stuff. So anyway, that's going to be going there. Okay, so let's talk about the stuff I spun up off screen here. Real quick, I got the KiteCalc MK2s here. There they are. Ba-boom. It wasn't too bad. It's just a matter of time, like I'm busy doing the SAM, the self-assembly monolayer. I'm busy trying to get the nuclear sample, get the chemical science up and running, then debugging the base and all that, and trying to get everything to work. So I finally got a chance to do the KiteCalc MK2s. It wasn't that tough. The only thing I had to do is I set up by one of the KiteCalc builds, brought in carbon dioxide, and you need a bunch of KiteCalc trees. So I scooped up a bunch, threw it in a case, and just walked away from this thing. All you need is 4 trees to spin this up, and it only took maybe a half day. So I let the damn thing run and would periodically check on it, and there we go. So I got these, and all you need to do is bring in the FUTech PP6, and these will spin up. So once you get the 4, this thing will start up and go. Then I did the Cadveric MK2s. My God, this was a pain in the butt. Well, it wasn't really a pain in the butt. It just took all day. I went to the Cadveric build, and then I set this up. I needed to bring in activated carbon and syngas to make the refined syngas. And then I had to bring in sulfur and fertilizer. And I already had coal gas and the Cadveric seeds there, so that's why I set it up in one spot. And I just kind of patched in 2 unloaders and all that, one for the gas, one for the other stuff. So finally, after a whole day of running this thing, and I was doing other stuff, and I just let it run and walk away. Finally, I got the 1 Cadveric ARM MK2 that you need to start this whole process up. Now, this is a prime example of why I'm not going to run the research or go over the research, and then because what I'm doing is I'm running the, going over the research, and then I don't have enough time to build anything in the episode because that takes so much time to go over it. And I'm going to go over it anyway when we build it. So screw it. I'm just going to cut that out now. So I hope you guys all appreciate that or agree with that. So now, so in order to spin up the MK2s here, you need sulfur, coal gas, and water. And you get 200 of the pulp. And this is what was confusing about when I was looking at the research for this. So the pulp goes in here. Now it's 75. So you get 2 crafts for sure with a little left over. And that gives you 3 seeds times 2, which is 6. So that's all you need is, you need 4 to get this whole thing kick-started, right? So that one plant will give you, I think, 6 seeds on the first craft with a little bit extra for another 2 later. And then I'm venting the gas because I don't need it. And then you got to bring in methanol, and then there's sulfur. So I got the sulfur there. This sucker, oh, and notice that I've got the MK2 greenhouse here, which I needed the neural processors for. So I'm, that's why I fast-tracked that a little bit. Well, kind of. We needed to do it. So then you put your seeds in here, and you get 1 Cadveric ARM from 4 seeds. So you got 1 craft from the start. The next craft, you get, another one, and then you get 2, and then, you build up. Then you're just waiting, right? Now, this one needs coal bed gas and outlet gas, and I didn't have either. Well, here's the outlet gas. Pretty simple stuff. Copper cable, nickel plate, coke oven gas, and tar. I really don't understand why copper cable? Why not just copper plate, I don't understand the plate addition to a gas and a tar thing. I mean, and this is a filter. What are you filtering? Is it the tin and copper has a molecular thing that's creating a filter that you're running the coke oven gas and tar through, and then you get this outlet gas crap? I don't know how it works, but whatever. I don't know if it's real or not. So anyway, yeah, and then so the coal bed gas, I had plans for this, but I'm going to tear it out now. So here's the coal bed gas here. So we've done this before. I built this way back trying to get the sulfuric acid. Come to find out, this is not the best way to get sulfuric acid. And I think we have a new recipe now that's even better. But I was trying to get more sulfuric acid with this mess, and the hot air is the problem. I forgot about that. And I'm like, oh, it needs 500 hot air to run this freaking thing. So, but the good thing is we got a new recipe now for hot bricks, which generate 500 hot air. So we're going to be getting into that in one of the episodes. So I'm going to design it, and then we'll go over it. But I do know what's involved right now. So anyway, that's how I spun that sucker up. That was fun to do. I really enjoy it. Okay, so over here. Oh, now I upgraded power. Oh, the trains are running like crazy because I'm going to be upgrading the advanced locomotives. So I'm grabbing 4 at a time. So I'm not running research right now. I'm upgrading trains. I'm in between. So I got the base running it's running smooth now. I got all the little kinks worked out now that the chemical science is up and running here. So I finally got the turbine MK2s. I wanted to do this on screen, but it was really not much. Really, I didn't think it was episode worthy. So let's just go over it. So I got the MK2 power plant for coal. There is the MK2 water pump, or well, it's a pump jack. This thing is really cool looking. I like it. And then in the footprint changes on it. Be mindful of that. It's a bigger footprint. And then we got the pressure pump MK2 and heat exchanger MK2. And now the beast. This is 4 times the power of a steam turbine MK01, and this thing is awesome. I love these things. Too bad we're not going to be using them for very long. Well, we might be able to use it with nuclear power. I'm not sure. That is unlocked now. So we'll have to build those. Notice MK02 Houts. So I needed to upgrade. These are more power. All this stuff here. It's a little more power, but you got to use them. You have to. And so I had to go with the MK02 Houts. They're pretty cool. They're not running very much because they're idle right now. So they're kind of like boop, 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 boop. So that was kind of fun. You want to talk about, oh my god, you have to use Kevlar and you melt it down with hot air in a casting unit and you get, I think it's a vane or something like that. I think it's the back. This back part right here, that's actually a part. And then you got the motor here, which is a yaw drive. And then you got to make the propeller and the tower. And then everything else, you know, kind of, you know how it is, you know. So pretty cool stuff. So this is 400. This is 100. This is a gigawatt right here, just under 1, 2, 3 gigawatts. And so once I tested this out, it's working good. I was like, cool. Okay, now let's go over here. And oh my god, look at how clean this is. Look at how clean this is. I went ahead and made it all nice and pretty. I got the pressurized water and the steam, you know, the hot molten salt and the steam and the salt coming all out of there. And there's the steam. So it turns out it's a 1-to-1 ratio on these, the heat exchanger to turbines. So that was awesome. There is going to be an update to this though. For the future build, I'm going to build I'm going to consolidate everything into one system because right now it's so disjointed. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So that's one of the projects I'm going to work on off screen there. I'll get and it's going to be 40 of these things. And then here's the Houts. I updated the Houts. These are powering the entire, you know, because I don't want that negative power loop where if I lose power, then I lose the ability to spin it back up. You know, the power system will always run with these. I love the idea. I love these wind power things because you could do stuff like this where you always have, it's not consistent power, so just spam down a bunch so you make sure you have it. And you'll see that it's kind of, you know, all over the place. But for the most part, these things work great. Right now, it's only drawn the 10, 11, whatever. So you can see that when, you know, peak power, we're at about 25. Yeah, so I'm way overbuilt on that, but you know, I'd rather be overbuilt than not for this. But we have a potential of 75 megawatts there, but it's five times that of an MK01 Hout. So 25, that's 50. That should be 100, but I think it's saying 80. Yeah, it bounces around. I wish it told you that the max peak power, it really in a sense it's 80%. I think it's like 80% of the max, so you're not going to get 100% out of that. It's not feasible, you know. God, look at all those mini loaders. Jesus. And then 4 megawatts for the coal or the mining there. So yeah, that worked pretty nice. So what I'm going to do in the future next, once I get this rebuilt, I'll show you the hell mod entry. There's an update to this, which I'm going to be doing a tank, and it's going to be the small tank. I'm going to have a pump off the tank to this turbine, and the pump is going to be SR latched to solar accumulators. So I'm going to put a bunch of solar, and we're going to get the Nexala solar. I hope I can build them. I don't know yet, but we do have, you know, accumulators in solar now. So when the base is idle, it's going to run off of solar. And if I get a power spike or something like that because I'm building something and the base is running, we'll have this run, and this system, the coal power system will kick on, you know. But eventually we'll be on nuclear power. I don't know when that'll be, though. So, yeah. Anyway, oh, here is the solar. I brought it up here. And this is the SR latch right here. And what it does is it triggers off of the accumulator power. When it drops to 25 or something like that, 15, then that triggers, it'll trigger the pumps on. And it stays on until the accumulator power is up to a certain amount. And then it'll switch off the pumps. And then we'll be on full 100% solar again. So and you need an SR latch because otherwise you get hysteresis. It'll go and it's bad. It's pretty nasty. It works, but you know, you don't want hysteresis on your combinators. So that is the plan with power. Now let's go over this really quick here. I'll try and go over this quickly, but it works out to have 40 coal power plants because then it allows for 25 of the heat exchangers, and like I said, it's 1-to-1. And this creates 180,000 steam a minute. And notice I'm using coal briquettes here. We'll get into that in a second. So 180,000 steam is 3,000 steam a second. The turbines are in seconds, so it's 120 steam consumption a second. So divided by 60 there, and then 3,000 divided by 120 is 25 of the steam turbines. So it worked out perfectly, 25 to 25. And that is 11.9 gigawatts. And I'm using the Houts, right? So this 26 isn't counted in there. You know, it doesn't matter because I'm powering, the system is being powered by those wind power things. So if I didn't do coal briquettes, it would have been, I think, just under 8 belts of coal. That's not going to happen. So you can't use the charcoal briquettes with coal power plants for some reason. That's the 180 megajoule. So we have to use these. Now I don't know if they just forgot to add it in there. You know, again, it's a mod. People are writing for the fun of it, right? So it might have been missed. I don't know. So the coal briquette, 60 megajoules. I'm going to build this for the power. Now when we get into nuclear power, the coal briquettes will be used to power the oxygen furnaces and, the hot air stuff, because we're still going to have to do the hot molten salt for the hot air. So this will be, and I'll probably build another one of these just for that alone, because I want to get off of coal and get to this. Now this is, the only problem with this one is it's relying on rendering of animals to run this crap. So I worry about the skin running out. That's why I'm going to do the SR latch and try and run off of solar to save on consumption of these coal briquettes over time. But I might have to stockpile some more skin is what I'm thinking, instead of recycling it in a composter. So the kite calcs are going to be used for the coal dust, and that's a pretty consistent coal dust generator there. So this is, I'm going to use the advanced recipe. Now, that's a lot of kite calcs, but, you know, again, once this is up and running, it'll be fine. And I can use wind power for this as well, but I won't. Well, I'm going to have to use wind power for this. Now, this 219 is not correct, and I'll show you why. So here's the clay pit and the pressure furnace for, I'm using the pressure furnace for carbon dioxide here, because we got to bring in biomass anyway, so one less train. And the clay pit is 2. I'm using yellow or MK1 machines where it makes sense on power consumption. The wood, though, oh, God, double that. That would be 60 MK01s. No, we're not doing that. So it's going to be 30 to make the kite calc stuff. Now, here's another thing, too. The power isn't going to be, we're not going to be running at full 11.9 gigawatts, you know. It's going to change based on, if we're getting up to 11.9 gigawatts, we're going to have to punch another one down. But yeah, usually what I try to do is go halfway. So if I'm, well, you know, I can go 75, let's say 75% of the power. So once you guys start getting to 75% power consumption, it's time to start putting more power down. So what I did is, that's why I'm saying this isn't right. 10 megajoules alone is the slaughterhouses. Now, what I was trying to do here is say, okay, can I render an animal to get the skin and get this to be consistent? And I tried the cotton guts because you get a lot of different stuff here. You get 2 brains and tons of lard and all this stuff. So I thought, okay, let me see about cotton guts here. I think cotton guts have more skin than any other animal that we have currently. I can't remember, I looked. But the brains was what I was looking at here mainly. I'm running out of brains, so I can't run the vat brain very much. So I'll run it for a little while, and I have to turn it off because I won't have brains for the animal samples while doing research. Which is kind of sucky, but oh well. There's things I learned, right? So in order to get a cotton gut... In order to get the skin for the power, using cotton guts, this is what it entails. So we got, what, 40? That's 40. No, 40. Let's say 46, yeah. Let's say 40, 46, 50. And this is not including everything. Holy cripes, look at this. I didn't realize those were so much power. Oh, it's kilojoules. Oh, never mind. Yeah, so we're at about, let's say 55. So knock that down to 55. And, we can use the skin from our rendering, normal rendering. But in order to do this cotton gut build, holy cripes, it's a lot of infrastructure for this. We need 2 for seeds. We need grod for bedding, moon drops, of course. And then this higher end, breeding one, the cotton gut pups. It's going to require a Coralex build, which is going to require 2 for seeds and all that other shit. Ugh, it's nuts, man. This is a crazy one. So, but this was just me seeing if it would be viable, to get the skin, which it isn't. So I'm like, nah, we're not going to do that. So we'll just run it off. Hopefully this will run off the skin that I'm generating from, building and research, and all that. So that's the plan there. Okay, so now, really quick, I am working on trying to figure out what the base is looking like for the next bunch of science packs coming up here. And now I might be, after doing this, I think I don't know if it's going to work doing it this way. Trying to include all the sciences, mainly because the lab configuration might change. So what I'm doing here is I've got 10 labs here, but we're going to have vat brains. We're going to, I might increase the amount of labs I put down. So what I'm trying to do is just base this, get a general idea here of what I'm going to need to run all these sciences. And then I can at least try and plan for it, And so I've been breaking down some of the ones I know I'm breaking down, though, as you can see here, all the way up to chemical science. And I haven't broken out every single little thing, like the batteries haven't been broken out. A battery is, a whole industry in itself. And I'm also trying to figure out how much molten iron I'm going to need, because that's a big one. So, and this is the casting recipe here. As you can see, it hardly, for chemical science, in order to make the small parts, I think it is here, to make the, I think it's 1.25 a minute versus, oh wow, that's 15. Oh, there's other things, yeah. Yeah, up here, right here for the mechanical part. So so what I'm trying to do is figure out, well, how much production am I looking at going forward? So I'm breaking this out slowly but surely, and I'm working on it. The real big problem here is if I break out like advanced small parts from here, for example, and I make another tab for it, I have to see if it's gonna, because you could click on the top here, the production line, and you could look for advanced parts in here. Here's small parts. It's saying 4.17 a minute, which I don't think is right, because this one here is 300 a minute. What is this one? Small parts. Yeah, see, it's saying 300 here. But here, oh wait, up here, it's saying 4.17. So I don't know why it's doing that one. But, you can see where it's kind of getting a little out of control here. I don't know if I broke... Oh, maybe I didn't. Did I break out the small parts on this one? I don't think I did. Well, yeah, here it is right here. Wow, I don't know what's going on with Hellmod. Yeah, it's seeing zeros. So I do have them in here. Yeah, it's this casting stuff here. So here it is right here. So this is saying 300 a minute right here. So I don't know why it's not reflecting up here, you know. But yeah, it just goes to show you, like I said, I'm just trying to get a general idea of what I'm doing here. So I am trying to figure that out. Whoops. Now, a project I'll be working off screen. I wanted to go over this now because I'm going to be doing this off screen. A new rubber build. It's going to be using, it's the new recipe here. It's styrene, and then it adds the phenol into this. But this is going to be, I'm designing this to 300 rubber a minute. And this is going to be kind of a crazy build here. So the issue here comes down to, which is what I've been having a problem with this whole playthrough so far, is sulfuric acid and ammonia. Everything is sulfuric acid and ammonia. Sulfuric acid and ammonia. So I attempted to do some stuff here, but just ignore all that. This was me trying to design everything into one area. But what I'm going to do, for ammonia, we have this new recipe now using shale oil and molybdenum. And it's not too bad. Look at this. So I'm just going to make ammonia from here. And this is 9,000 ammonia a minute. So the AUG build that's making the ammonia for me, which is this enormous crazy build that eats everything, you know, is down to this. And it's 26 megajoules. So this is the new recipe here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the molybdenum separately from this, and because I want it for building for other processes going forward. Okay, and then there's the sulfuric acid. I think this is fairly new too. I don't know. I can't remember. But we need refined syngas, and really all it is activated carbon with syngas. So you can see how nice and clean this is. It's a really nice, easy build. And we need a lot of sulfur. So I'm going to have to pop down a couple more sulfur builds, you know, or mines. I plan on building this in a block where there's a sulfur mine, which I have one picked out. So I want to do the ammonia, the sulfuric acid, and all the rubber stuff in one block if I can. It'll be kind of weird. It'll be kind of messy, but I'll see if I can do it. But this thing kicks out 4,800 sulfuric acid a minute. Now I'm going to do these two builds. So these two here I broke out because I needed to, you know, play around with the recipes and stuff. But I'm going to build this rubber build along with sulfuric acid and ammonia all in one area. And then I'm going to take this sulfuric acid and ammonia build and I'm going to duplicate it for the general purpose base, you know, where you have to go to all these different spots, you know. And then I might take the cadverics out, and the AUG build will come out too. So we'll get that crap out of there, and that'll save a lot of space and resources and stuff. So that'll be nice. The other project, I'll be doing this on episode though. We'll build it on episode. We gotta do this hot stone brick stuff now, and that's here. So this is the new one. A lot of hot air comes out of this sucker. It's going to be like a 1-to-1-to-1 because you get so much hot air out of this. It's ridiculous. I'll be able to do 100,000 tanks with this one. So you have to start it off with, you need this outlet gas stage 4, which is another whole freaking process. And you need coke oven gas to keep it going. Of course, right? So it's basically using the back end, the current hot air system that we have. You basically rip everything out except that coke oven gas part that I have, and then it becomes an ingredient to this. And it's only if you need to make more of the outlet gas stage 4. And here's the rub. Similar to the first one we did, you lose 5 of the outlet gas when you heat it back up. So that's why, you know, it's not a closed loop system. You have to constantly supply it with new. So there's that rub. Now, what's interesting is when you make the outlet gas, it comes out as 1,000 degree from the start. So in order to get this system up and running, we have to get our warmer bricks And then we have to have our outlet gas ready to go. You know, so we build all that, and we have outlet gas sitting there. And then this process will start up, and it kicks out the outlet gas at 750. Okay, so now it's going to drop in temp. Obviously, that's what it does. That's normal. So now we put the 750 in here to get the warmer to a warm to warmer. And then the temperature drops as it does. And then we take the 750 and we get 500 for, I think, well, did I cover that one? I think I did. Yeah. 750 in, 500 out. This process here takes the 500 and it kicks out 250 now. So that 250 now goes to here. And it's notice how it says less than or equal to 500. But mainly, I think it's the 250 that goes in here. That's hands down. I guess you could put 500 in here as well to kind of keep it going. But why would you do that? You need the 500 for the other process, you know, that other stage. So I wouldn't. You want to take the end. Basically, the end process comes in, or the beginning process comes into the front. The beginning. Wait a minute. The end. No, the warm brick is the beginning. This is the end. Right? I think it's confusing, but this heats it back up with a loss. So that's how you get your cycle, and you need to keep injecting new stage 4 gas in there. So we'll work on that. I brought these up here as, you know, kind of reminder. I got to do this. Is another thing too. So we're going to be doing there's going to be a lot of upgrading. Now what I'm going to do is get all the materials for the rebuilds of things, because we're going to have to do this going forward here. So I already started kind of figuring out one, and it's kind of crazy. Okay, so this is the new and improved iron processing here. So we get the iron ore, and we got all these stages and stuff, and I'm still trying to figure this out. So once I figure this out, we'll do a speed up video on it. I would like to do more than one speed up video within the episode, so that you guys can see the building process and all that. And I think that's kind of important in a Factorio playthrough. So anyway, this one here is 1800 molten. Now we're going to be going with molten transport, and we're going to be casting, because some of the stuff is going to require more than one molten, like for example copper iron for small parts eventually. And then we got the tin cable. We need molten tin and copper. So we're going to have, it's just because we have all these different mixes, it will make sense to do molten versions and then transport to make the finished products. So I started with 1800 a minute, but I'm going to go higher than that. That way, because, we're not really taxing this thing too much. And then this is the newest recipe here, high grade iron. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this Helmod thing here, because I'm having trouble resolving the unslimed. I think it's working now. Maybe I got it. Because I did this a couple days ago. The iron ore dust. I think that's the one I'm having issues with. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, because if I go here, let's see here, iron ore dust. That one kicks it out. Wait a minute now. That creates it. Yeah, so we need this for the pulp stage 1. I have a build already of this, you know what I mean? So, but it's changed so much. But the issue is here, trying to get the iron ore into the pulp and all this tailings and unslimed crap. It gets pretty crazy. See here, you need these two things. And so here's the iron slime. That goes here. And then we got the unslimed iron. So we've got 5 and 17 for 20. Yeah, so that works out there. The issue is, I think we got extra hydrogen, obviously, and that makes sense. I think maybe I do have it. I think I did get this. The iron ore dust comes from, where is the iron ore dust? I don't see it. Is this it? Oh, here it is. It's kind of against the blue background. It was kind of hard to see it because the color kind of changes a little bit. So there's the iron ore dust. So I think I've got this. Yeah. And 1800 a minute. what I'm going to do is I got to figure out how much I'm going to need, though. That's the problem. So that's why I was doing this thing here, you know, to see how much I need. Now, you can see 2.92 a minute. That's not correct, but so here is 1,500. So as I'm trying to break things out here and figure things out, that's 1,500. So I made this 1,800 based on what I know for now. I can always change this stuff here. So that's why I want to do is, you know, I want to break this down to a certain degree to get an idea, and then maybe I'll increase the amount, you know. So hopefully that works. Wow. Yeah, so a lot of talking today, I know. Oh, I have a treat for you guys. I have a treat. Okay, I want to end the episode on a cool treat. Ready for this? Oh, yeah, baby. Look at that. An MK2 port. Let me get, oh, hold on. Oh, I had two on me, yeah. So I'm going to go right here. Now, the problem is their bigger footprint. So I can't fit them in between like I'm doing here anymore. So what I'm going to do is I got to bump this up higher, and I'm going to put these ports in between here. So that's why I'm glad I waited on the hub, because I don't know what's coming, right? I'm kind of unsure. So this, I'm glad I got this now, because what I got to do is move this column up, and I'm going to take this charging station out and put this in right here. And watch this, man. You're going to freak out. Boom. And the bots are going to start to fly and bring stuff. This sucker has, oh, it's charging up. The ability to charge 6 bots, and it's 700 kilowatts. And this one, the MK1, 1 bot at 180 kilowatts. So we're talking, you know, 5 times more, maybe 4. And the bots, it's 6, multiply that by 6. Look how fast that is. They're just popping on in. Look at that. That is awesome. So I'm really excited about the charging ports here. And let's end the episode on something that I'm already prepped and ready here. Check it out. Ready? Walk. New construction bots. Look how fast they are. Oh, that's so good. And we'll be able to get the MK2 port. And all I gotta do is get the research for it, and we can build it. So not only will we have upgraded bots, and we'll have upgraded charging ports for our personal thing there. See how it takes a little while to charge them up. Now we'll rip it up. Watch how fast these suckers are. Oh my god! We're in a new era, folks. We're in the MK2 era. So that's going to be nice for building, let me tell you. And tearing down. There's going to be a lot of that coming up. So there you go. Get to work. There we go. Awesome. And look how fast they charge and pop into the thing there. Oh, that's so awesome. Oh, it's, you know, that's the part of pYanodons that, you know, or, well, you know, these overhaul mods, they make it tough, but eventually you start getting the cool stuff, and you appreciate all the work you've done, you know. So, oh, over here is what I had to spin them up. I've got, oh, we can't do the logistic bots yet because we need super steel. So this is the recipe here. We already went through this, I think, on, you know, one of the episodes. So that's the pYanodbot MK2. It uses our prior bot, you know, the pYanodbot MK01. We needed the Nextlet battery in EVA, obviously, self-assembly, monolayer, stainless steel, aramid fiber, and then the flying robot frame is here. So we need the complex circuit, we need electric engine. Yeah, that's pretty much it. The hold back there was obviously the complex circuit, but we got that now. And then, oh, the port MK02. I gotta change some stuff around because this takes the prior port. But here's the recipe for it, and it needs EVA mechanical parts 02. So we had to build that. It needs a tower MK02. So I gotta build that internally here. And then everything else we have. Next flip battery. Yeah. Advanced parts, you know, all that stuff. All the high-end stuff we've had to make are in here. The coverage on this is insane. I'm hoping that it'll reach. That's another thing I have to test. I have to make sure that this coverage here will match that of the other one. So what I have to do is test it and make sure. So if you do this, copy, and oh, we need one. I need one in order. I need it on in order to get the, you know, get the footprint of it. So, you know, basically I don't need as many of these. I could probably make this longer. That's what I'll probably do. Is I'll make the hub longer, and then this will be at the, you know, up here somewhere, wherever. So I'll have, and I'm glad I waited on the hub. I had to get something up and running though, because I got to be able to build. I had to tear that mess out of there. It was making me sick to my stomach. Anyway, well, so I better cut this off. It's getting long here. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the new developments, and it's going to be pretty fun going forward. And like I said, I'm not going to go over the research, but we will be we'll be build focused going forward on the episodes. All right. So next episode, I hope to, you know, get something going here. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do first, but you know, I'll come up with something, and just keep an eye out for it. All right. I'll see you later. Peace out.